Viewers all over the world, I'm Saduma. Today, without wasting any more time, we're going into organic chemistry. And today, we'll be talking about the naming of hydrocarbons. Naming of hydrocarbons. I know we are all familiar with hydrocarbons now. You know, other hydrocarbons, I told you we have aliphatic, we have aromatic. Basically, I'll be talking about alkanes. Naming of alkanes now. Let me start with alkanes. You know, I told you we have alkanes, we have alkynes under aliphatic, acyclic aliphatic hydrocarbons. So here, let me talk about the naming of alkanes. Don't forget, when I was giving us the general nomenclature, I told us that you locate the longest continuous chain. For instance, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, CH, 3, C2, H5, hydrogen, CH3, H, A. So, in this compound, we have straight chain, we also have branch chain. So it now depends on how we want to name this compound following that rule. I said locate the longest carbon continuum chain, carbon atom continuum chain. Starting from here, you can see the carbon here. So this is carbon number 1, 2, I'm counting ascending, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I go descending order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see that I collapsed this H3. At times it can be H, 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 but I've collapsed it to CH3. So I have 7 as the number of carbon atom. Then you look at the branch chain. Look at this first branch chain. If I count like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that 4 is lower than 7. And the rule says that what? Locate the longest carbon. So 4 is lower. So this, we cannot count this way. So since we cannot count this way, this one will be what? An attached group. It will be an attached group. It's going to be an attached group. If you count to this branch chain, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because you have 2 carbon atoms here. Is that clear? Here we have 7 carbon atoms. Here we have 6 carbon atoms. So 6 is still lower than 7. Therefore, we are going to pick 7. This one will now become another attached chain. So we have 2 attached groups. So then now say, what are the names of these attached groups? Number 1, we have, this is what? C2. And I told you that alkyl groups, they form what? Attachments. So this is C2. C2 is what? Ethyl. Ethyl. This is CH3. CH3 is what? Methyl. I hope I made myself so clear. So if you now look at it, we have methyl attached to carbon number 3. We have ethyl attached to carbon number 4. Don't forget the rule 2 I gave you in the general nomenclature. I said you should pick first the one with the alphabet that will come first when you're counting your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and down to what? Z. Down to Z. So if you now look at this now, between methyl and ethyl, which one will come first when you are counting in that order? That is what? E. E will come before N. that for me to name this group now, I will now have to call this ethyl before methyl. So to name this compound now, you now say, okay, on which carbon atom is ethyl attached to? You say it's attached to carbon number 4. Ethyl is attached to carbon number 4. You know, if you count from here, it's 4. If you count from here, it's 4. So it will not be what? 4 ethyl, 4 ethyl, 4 ethyl, comma, 4 ethyl, we put a dash. This methyl is attached to what carbon? Carbon number 3. If you're counting from this side, carbon number 3. So we are following this. Carbon number 3. 4 ethyl, 3 methyl. Is that clear? 4 ethyl, 3 methyl. Then you now say, what is the name? How many carbon atoms do you have as the longest continuous chain? I repeat, how many carbon atoms do we have as the longest continuous chain? We have 7. And 7 is what? Ept. So it will now be ept. So which compound are we dealing with? This is an alkane, but there is no double bond here. So it will now be 4 ethyl, 3 methyl, heptane. Heptane. Can you see the way we named it? Very simple. You don't need to disturb yourself. 4 ethyl, 3 methyl. You can see the way I've written it. 4 dash 4. Showing that ethyl is on carbon number 4. Methyl is on carbon number 3. And the name of that compound is what? The hydrocarbon is what? Methyl, is heptane. So the name of this structure now is now what? 4 ethyl, 3 methyl, heptane. Let me give us another example. Let me just use this. I'll use this to save time. Or let me just, you know what, just follow what I've done. If you can name this, I tell you, you can name any compound. You can name any compound. Any compound, I call it. Let's say, let me put another attached group here. This is another attached group. Br. This one will still maintain the CH3. Don't forget, I said this one will be what? An attached group. This one will be an attached group. I just changed the what? The attachment here. I substituted hydrogen with what? Bromine. Because I told us when I was teaching us alkane, I said the only reaction they undergo is what? Substitution reaction. So this is example 2. Example 2. In the example 1, we had this one to be hydrogen. But in this example 2, I substituted that hydrogen with what? Bromine. I knocked off that hydrogen to replace it with bromine. And when you are doing that, you use reagents. You use reagents to bring take away hydrogen to bring another atom. So I've taken away hydrogen and I brought bromine. So how do I name this compound now? The same step. This is an attached group. This is an attached group the way I've explained it. This is ethyl. And this is methyl. And this is bromine. But they don't call it bromine. When it's in a reaction, we call it bromo. 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 So for me to count this now, you now start naming them. This is now carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3, carbon number 4, carbon number 5, carbon number 6, carbon number 7. So for me to name this now, where do you have the lowest attachment? From here, we have 5, 3. From here, we have 2. We have 6. And don't forget the numbering. I told us. For us to name this now, we have 1, 2, three, sorry, which one will come first? Bromine or ethyl? If you look at your alphabet, B will come before what? E. And E will come before what? M. So for me to name this compound, I must first of all mention the position of bromine. So bromine is on carbon number 6. Ethyl is on carbon number 4. Methyl is on carbon number 3. So it's going to be 6 bromo dash 4 ethyl dash 3 methyl. Then what's the name of the compound? Hepta. I think it's clear. 6 bromo. I can give you this, because that one they only give in exam. They will just give you this. That what is the structure of this compound? I'm going to give us one very shortly. I will just write the name, the chemical name, then I'll tell you to draw the structure. And for you to draw the structure, you start from the back. Don't worry, I'll give you that one. Let me give you one more example before give you such molecular formula. Another example, example 3. I can have this. Somebody should try this before I solve it. You can have another one. Example 4. I can have this. Somebody should try that. Just try it before I will solve it. Lay your hand on it. Lay your hand on it. Lay your hand on it. So this is another compound. We want to name it. So for this now, for you to name this, you have, how many carbon atoms do you have? Just only one. And this is what? What do you call it? At A, you have what? Chlorine. Chlorine has substituted hydrogen. Another chlorine has substituted hydrogen. Another chlorine has substituted hydrogen. Another chlorine has substituted hydrogen. By what reaction? Substitution reaction. Chlorine replaced, what do you call it? Hydrogen. So for us to name this now, you now look at it that this is only one carbon. And I want to name it. Now, how many chlorine do you have on one carbon? You have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chlorine. You will not say 4 chloro. No. If you say 4 chloro, that means that chlorine is on carbon number 4. If you say 4 chloro. But everything is on one carbon. If it's on a particular carbon, you have the frequency of an atom to be more than 1 on a carbon. You now use this word. Mono, don't forget. Di, don't forget. Tri, don't forget. Tetra. You know, mono means 1. Di means 2. Tri means 3. While tetra means what? 4. We are speaking chemistry now. Yes. So here we have chlorine, 4 chlorines, or 1 carbon atom. For us to name this now, it will now be 1, 2, 3, 4 tetra chloro. What's on this compound? Methane. These are the K. 1, 2, 3, 4 tetrachloromethane. It means that you have chlorine, you have 1 chlorine, 2nd chlorine, 3rd chlorine, 4th chlorine, so you now use tetra. Chloro, you don't say chlorine, no. Chloro, if it is fluorine, You say fluoro. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tetrachloromethane. Hope that is clear. If I have, okay, let's go to the second one. We have, this is carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3. So for us to name this, do we have branch group? Yes, we have. If you look at this, 1, 2, 3. This one will now become a branch group. If you go like this, 1, 2, 3. This will also be what? A branch group. But let's consider the straight chain. If you consider the straight chain, this one will now be what? A branch group. That's that CH3. This CH3. The CH3 here will now be what? A branch group. A branch group. The CH3 is a branch group. So you now name it considering the what? The alphabet. Which one will come first? This is chloro. This is bromo. You now look which one will come first. And this is an attached group. This is methyl. So for us to name this now, you now come. Which one is coming first? Bromine. So we have 1 bromo followed by what? Cl. Cl is before M. 1 bromo, 3 chloro. What's this? 2 methyl or methyl. 1, 2, 3 propane. Is there any magic? You can see the way I've solved it. 1 showing that the bromine is on carbon number 1. 3 showing that the chlorine is on carbon number 3. 2 showing that the methyl group is on carbon number 2. Then the name of this, how many atoms do you have here? 1, 2, 3. Which is what? A propane. And this is an alkane. So it will now be 1 bromo, 3 chloro, 2 methyl, propane. Very simple. So let me give us this to solve. 2 dimethyl octane. Yeah, solve that before I solve it. Try it. 2 dimethyl octane. When you are given a problem like this to solve, I told you when I was talking, when I started what do you call the name of this group, I said when you want to name or when you want to write the structure of a molecular compound of an alkane or let's say an hydrocarbon, where you start from is from the back. You start from the back. What do you have at the back? Octane. The first thing is for you to write what? The structure of what do you call it? Octane of carbon. Only showing you only the carbon. Don't draw the attachment yet. Just write how many carbon atoms do you have in octane. It's 8. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You just draw the carbon atom first. Don't put the attachment yet. Hope that is clear. So if you don't say how many, what do you call it? Bonds will this carbon have? 1 tetravalency, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for this carbon atom. 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 You have shown all the bonds that is from the law of tetravalency. So you have named octane. The next thing, you say dimethyl. Dimethyl. Meaning that I have 2 methyl groups. And what is methyl? CH3. So I have 2 of these. I have 2 of CH3. And where are they attached to? They are attached to carbon number 2. The first one is on carbon number 2. The second methyl group is your what? Carbon number 2. You will now come in and let me name this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octane. Then 2, 2. Carbon number 2. 2. I have methyl. This is methyl. Another methyl again. So I have 2, 2 dimethyl octane. Then you can now fill the rest with hydrogen. You fill the rest with hydrogen. Or it's an alkane group. So you fill the rest. You can see this is very cheap. Very, very cheap. So you can collapse this to CH3, C into brackets CH3, 2 because you have 2 of this. Then you have CH2, 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 as in from here, CH2, then CH3. I want to believe we all enjoy that. So for maybe next video I'll continue with alkanes. Thank you very much.